welcome back to The Vibe. Now I'm about to get you shook, because I was shook after learning about what we're talking about today on Too Sus for Us. Alright, so we are going to be talking about the toxic woman. Why was she called toxic? Because her body caused many people, 27 out of 33 in fact, of hospital workers around her to feel a certain type of way. But let me break it down for you, alright? In February 1994, not too long ago, a woman was admitted to the General Hospital in Riverside, California. Her name was Gloria Ramirez, and she was suffering from cervical cancer. In the evening, Ramirez was rushed into the emergency room by a team of paramedics, and at the time she was suffering from something called bradycardia, which is a resting heart rate of under 60 beats per minute, as well as delusions. She was disorientated, and more importantly, she had an abnormal breathing pattern. Many of the attending nurses claimed to have seen an oily sheen all over her body, oily sheen, people, and a lot of them reported smelling a fruity garlic smell coming from her mouth. Fruity garlic. I don't even know what that is. Anyways, so nurse Susan Kane was the one to draw blood from Miss Ramirez and noticed that the blood vial actually smelled like ammonia. After taking the blood out of Ramirez, Susan Kane actually fainted and started complaining, before she fainted, she started complaining of a burning sensation on her face. All right.
Oh my
gosh! Later on, the
Ah!
attending doctor actually complained that there were manila particles in the blood.
Wait, manila folder?
No, like manila particle is like essentially like a yellowish crystal in the blood. So they drew blood from this woman's arm, and what came out was yellow particles floating around in the blood. And then that doctor who touched the vial, or rather observed the vial, also felt like she was going to faint. She left the room. She later did faint. Okay, now lastly, the next person that was there with them was the respiratory therapist on call, and she too felt that she was going to faint shortly after. She did, and her limbs were thrashing all over the floor. So anyone who came near this patient, I guess like a seizure you'd call it, yeah. So essentially anyone who came near or in contact with this patient actually fainted or had some kind of medical problem. So let's get into it. She was pronounced dead. They were not able to save her. They had to evacuate the entire hospital.
Ramirez?
Yes. Ramirez was proclaimed dead 35 minutes after they brought her in, and it was because of a urinary failure or kidney failure related to her cancer. Does that sound right? Cancer doesn't cause manila-colored particles and like fruity garlic smells and like toxicity. So
do you think she was a vampire?
No, I don't think so.
Was she a vampire?
I don't think so. Okay, so let me get it down for you. Okay. This is gonna be hard.
All
right, so
I know, my teeth are chattering.
Livermore Lab actually discovered that Gloria Ramirez had been taking a substance called DMSO, which is actually a gel that's used to treat pain for a lot of different reasons, but she was using it because of her side effects of cervical cancer. Anyways, it is actually reported that when people use DMSO, they have an oily sheen. Of course, it's a petroleum type of gel, and it does create a garlic-like taste in your mouth no matter where you put it in your body. Now, later on in her autopsy,
so it gets absorbed in your skin.
Yes, it does. And they actually found out in the autopsy that there was a urinary blockage, which was part of the reason why she died. So that would actually cause an excess of this DMSO to be built up into her body with absolutely no way of getting out. Now here's the crazy part. This is the crazy theory.
This was all crazy.
No, let me tell you. Okay, so oxygen administered by the paramedics would have, in theory, combined with the buildup of DMSO, thus creating DMSO2, or dimethyl sulfone, and this is actually known to crystallize at room temperature, which explains why when taken out of the body, which is 98 degrees, into the hospital room, which is usually 63 to 67 degrees, it crystallized inside the blood vial. As to why it created like a bleach-like smell, I really don't know. But it gets even crazier. So when they were trying to revive her, they actually gave her electric shocks. It would have actually converted the DMSO2 into DMSO4, dimethyl sulfate, which is an incredibly poisonous gas,
so
which
that's
actually
why all
explains
these
why
other doctors were
it
getting
actually
sick.
floated into the air. And this is a theory. The lab never actually tested this successfully. Other theories include that it was mass hysteria and that all the hospital workers just happened to think it up. Which I don't think is reasonable.
How could everyone
I really don't know. And another theory, which is really scary, is that this hospital isn't really known for being great. It actually had 2 poisonous gas leakages into the hospital rooms.
So you think that maybe there was a gas leak during this
it was
whole
a cover-up
thing?
because her body wasn't even autopsied for 2 weeks. She was already decaying by the time they cut her open.
So they let her rot,
Yes.
and then they claimed that she had a gas that infused
and they
into
magically happened to lose the blood vial that had all the manila particles in it. So, what you think? What you think?
I think it's
conspiracy.
hospital conspiracy.
Hospital
They just don't want to.
So you don't think it was the whole
Hospitals make
DMSO thing?
a ton of money,
That'd
and
be
if they were
cool.
sued because
It would
this,
not be cool.
I mean, the whole way that chemicals react with each
Yeah.
other, I think that is the coolest part of the story.
But see,
Horrible that she died. So sorry.
It's considered
But
such a rare and near impossible situation.
that all of those things could happen
Well,
all simultaneously.
are there
yeah, it
any
does seem a
family
little
members that are
sus.
coming across or like?
Oh yeah,
Coming
they don't
out of the dark?
agree. Like they don't agree with any of these theories. They're saying the
course.
hospital had something to do with it.
I'm sure.
So
Yeah.
is this hospital still open? Is it
Yeah,
still?
it is.
And people are still going out there. Where did you say that?
Riverside General Hospital in California.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, a lot of the doctors actually suffered long-term consequences. The doctor that was affected the most, she actually complains that she got hepatitis.
Did she sue?
Yes, she did. $6 million.
Did she win?
And she also got
lot of money.
avascular necrosis, which is when blood doesn't reach some of your muscles, so they stop working.
Oh.
So that happened
So
to
she
her
was, like,
leg, so she was
completely
using
paralyzed?
crutches. No, she used crutches, but that's still a big deal. Like, she didn't deserve any of this. None of
Yeah.
these people deserved any of this,
No,
and it's
of
really
course.
scary. And then like hazmat
Wow.
people came in, fully dressed. They couldn't find any poison.
Well,
See, if the hospital really was doing that, why would the doctor go through all those lengths to, become paralyzed or to fake all that stuff? The aftermath.
she
They could have
really
just
did.
Sure
easily.
they just weren't aware of the gas leaks that were
Oh yeah, there's
happening and
there's
they
like
were
a whole like
affected by
administrative
it.
side of
No,
a
but
hospital.
so do you think that it was like a double-sided thing where this woman did have that whole chemical
Manila
reaction?
in her
Yeah.
blood.
And also
Yeah.
on top of that, they were trying to cover up the gas
I
leak?
totally agree. It could totally
What if
be
it's like a merge
yeah, it could
to
be a
both
merge
theories?
situation. But she's put in an unmarked grave, okay? So
does that
there's
mean?
like they just dumped her anywhere. They didn't even care to
that's
put a
so
headstone. So
horrible.
her
Why?
family can't even see it. They didn't want people to dig it up and to like do
Actually
experiments.
find
yeah.
out what her death was, what the cause of her death was.
Ooh, maybe.
Wow, to
But-
actually find out what the cause of her death
Wait,
was.
so then no one knows where she was buried?
Oh, that is
No, nobody
sus.
knows why she died in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's all a little far-fetched.
sus.
I think it's too sus.
For us.
It's
But she was
That's
a
straight
toxic
up too
woman. A
sus.
human being was toxic to other people.
Wow, she was an
Ugh.
X-Men.
That is absolutely
I don't like that.
crazy, and I can't even believe that they would lose evidence in the first place.
Lose evidence. You're really
Or
okay. They went as far to like
take
pack their
that.
clothes, contaminated clothes, into bags, and they couldn't keep track of her blood vial.
Well,
not okay, guys. Not okay.
whatever the truth is, I hope that the answer finally comes out and Gloria gets her justice
That she deserves.
Yes.
But the American audience are like, who? And they start
Yeah.
Googling like all these people. But name dropping, I feel like all these relationships, all these are like public related stunts.
She
so
thinks
that,
they're planned, Jazzy J.
I mean, imagine.
What do you think?
Really? You think
I-
that he wouldn't just, he dropped that bomb,
He
the
did.
B
I
bomb, the
think-
BF bomb right in